Hey, step away from that door right now. What do you think you're doing?
I'm unlocking my office. I work here.
Is there a problem, officer?
Your office? This is a government building. I need ID and proof you're authorized to be here.
I have identification, but I don't need to prove I'm authorized. This is being recorded.
At exactly 6:47 a.m. on a Monday morning in Greenville County, South Carolina, Sheriff's Deputy Marcus Webb thought he was doing his job. He'd received a call about a suspicious person trying to access the county administration building before normal business hours. And when he arrived, he saw exactly what he expected to see. A black woman in casual clothes standing at a side entrance, key in hand, looking like she didn't belong. What Deputy Webb didn't know, what he was about to discover in the most humiliating way possible, was that the woman he was about to arrest wasn't a criminal. She was Kesha Williams, the elected district attorney of Greenville County, the person who supervised the prosecution of every criminal case in the county. The person who decided whether deputies like Webb got charged when they broke the law. The person who had sent 14 police officers to prison in the last 4 years for corruption and civil rights violations. And in the next 32 minutes, Deputy Marcus Webb was about to make the biggest mistake of his life, trigger an investigation that would expose a culture of racial bias in the sheriff's department, and discover that the woman he just handcuffed had the power to end not just his career, but his freedom. Before we go any further, I need you to do something right now. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Your city, your state, your country. Because what happened to Kesha Williams in front of her own office could happen anywhere. And the only reason we're talking about it is because she had the power to fight back. Most people don't. And if you believe accountability matters, if you think people in power need to be held responsible when they abuse that power, hit that subscribe button right now. This story is about to get intense in ways you won't expect, and you don't want to miss what happens when someone arrests the one person who can actually destroy them. Kesha Williams was not your average 43-year-old black woman in South Carolina. While most people her age were navigating middle management positions and planning for retirement in 20 years, Kesha was running the largest prosecutor's office in the state outside of Charleston. She was the district attorney for Greenville County, elected by a landslide margin 2 years earlier, overseeing a staff of 37 prosecutors, 23 investigators, and 41 support staff. She had a budget of $8.4 million. She prosecuted approximately 12,000 cases per year, and she had a conviction rate of 87%, one of the highest in South Carolina. Getting to that position hadn't been luck or political connections. It had been 30 years of relentless work. Kesha had grown up in the poorest neighborhood in Greenville, raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, day shift at a textile mill and night shift cleaning office buildings. Money had always been tight. There had been weeks when dinner was rice and beans, 4 nights in a row, because that's all they could afford. Kesha had worn her cousin's hand-me-down clothes to school and pretended not to notice when other kids made fun of her shoes that were 2 years out of style and had holes in the soles. But Kesha's mother had drilled one thing into her daughter's head from the time she could understand words: education is the only way out. So Kesha had studied. She'd gotten straight A's through elementary school, middle school, and high school. She'd worked part-time jobs, starting at 14. Fast food, retail, babysitting, anything that paid. She'd saved every dollar for college. She'd earned a full academic scholarship to the University of South Carolina, where she'd majored in criminal justice and graduated summa cum laude with a 3.97 GPA. She'd gotten into the University of South Carolina School of Law, where she'd worked as a research assistant to pay for expenses the loans didn't cover. She'd made law review. She'd graduated in the top 10% of her class. After law school, Kesha had joined the Greenville County District Attorney's Office as an assistant district attorney. Starting salary, $42,000 a year? She could have made 3 times that at a private firm, but Kesha hadn't gone to law school to get rich. She'd gone to law school to put criminals in prison, She'd started in the misdemeanor division, prosecuting shoplifting cases and DUIs and simple assaults. She'd won 92% of her cases in the first year. She'd been promoted to the felony division after 18 months, faster than anyone in the office's history. She'd prosecuted armed robberies, sexual assaults, drug trafficking cases. She'd put gang members away for 20-year sentences. She'd convicted a serial rapist who terrorized Greenville for 3 years. She'd sent a corrupt city councilman to federal prison for taking bribes. Kesha had developed a reputation. Defense attorneys hated going up against her. She was meticulous. She prepared. Cases like she was going to war. She knew every detail of every file. She could recite witness statements from memory. She anticipated every defense strategy and had counter moves ready. In depositions, she asked questions that trapped defendants into admissions they didn't realize they were making. In court, she presented evidence with the precision of a surgeon and the passion of a preacher. Juries loved her. In 14 years as a prosecutor, she'd won 247 felony convictions. She'd lost 19 cases. That was a win rate of 92.8%. But Kesha wasn't just good at convicting criminals. She was fearless about going after corrupt cops. In her 14 years as a prosecutor, she'd personally handled 11 cases involving police officers accused of crimes. She'd convicted a deputy for stealing drugs from evidence. She'd sent a police sergeant to prison for 8 years for sexually assaulting women during traffic stops. She'd prosecuted a detective for planting evidence and gotten him 15 years. She'd charged a SWAT team member with manslaughter after he killed an unarmed man during a raid and lied about it. She'd taken on 3 deputies who'd beaten a handcuffed suspect in a holding cell and put all 3 in prison. The police union hated her. They'd endorsed her opponent in the district attorney race 2 years ago. They donated $47,000 to his campaign. They'd run ads saying Kesha was anti-police and soft on crime. The voters hadn't believed it. Kesha had won with 64% of the vote, carrying every precinct in the county, including the white suburban areas where people usually voted for tough-on-crime prosecutors. She'd won because people trusted her. They knew she'd prosecute criminals regardless of whether they wore a badge or not. Since becoming district attorney, Kesha had continued that pattern. She'd charged 7 law enforcement officers in 2 years. 3 had pleaded guilty. 4 were awaiting trial. She'd fired 2 of her own prosecutors for withholding exculpatory evidence, evidence that would have helped defendants. She'd created a conviction integrity unit that reviewed old cases for possible wrongful convictions. That unit had already overturned 3 convictions and freed 3 people who'd served a combined 38 years for crimes they didn't commit. Kesha had also made enemies. The sheriff of Greenville County, Robert Buck Morrison, was a 62-year-old white man who'd been sheriff for 16 years. He'd come up through the department in an era when tough policing meant breaking heads and asking questions later. He'd been named in 4 excessive force lawsuits in his career as a deputy, all settled quietly by the county. He ran the sheriff's department like a personal fiefdom. Deputies who questioned him got transferred to undesirable assignments. Deputies who were loyal got promoted regardless of competence. And deputies who treated black residents differently than white residents were never disciplined because Buck saw that as just reality-based policing. Buck Morrison and Kesha Williams had clashed repeatedly. When she'd charged one of his deputies with assault, Buck had called her personally and told her she was making a mistake and turning your back on the people who keep this county safe. Kesha had told him that her job was to prosecute crimes, not to protect criminals who happened to wear badges. Buck had hung up on her. Since then, their relationship had been openly hostile. Buck had stopped returning her calls. His deputies had stopped cooperating with her investigators on cases. Buck had gone on local radio and said the DA's office was more interested in attacking law enforcement than protecting citizens. Kesha hadn't cared. She'd kept doing her job. That Monday morning, Kesha had arrived at the county administration building at 6:45 a.m., earlier than her usual 7:30 arrival time. She'd been working on a major case, a public corruption prosecution, involving a county commissioner accused of taking kickbacks from contractors. The trial was starting in 3 days, and Kesha wanted to review her opening statement one more time before her staff arrived. She liked working early in the morning when the office was quiet and she could think without interruptions. Kesha had parked in her assigned spot in the parking lot behind the building, marked Reserved District Attorney. She'd gotten out of her Honda Accord wearing jeans, a Clemson University sweatshirt, and sneakers. It was her preparation outfit, comfortable clothes she wore when she was going to spend hours reading files and practicing arguments. She'd grabbed her work bag from the back seat. The bag contained her laptop, 3 file folders for the corruption case, her opening statement outline, and her notes from witness prep sessions. She'd walked to the side entrance of the building, the one closest to her office on the 2nd floor. The county administration building was a 3-story brick structure built in 1987, housing multiple county offices, including the district attorney, the county clerk, the planning department, and several others. The main entrance didn't open until 8:30 a.m., but county employees with keys could use the side entrances starting at 6 a.m. Kesha had a key to the southeast side entrance. She'd used it hundreds of times. She'd pulled her key from her purse and was inserting it into the lock when she heard the voice behind her. "Hey, step away from that door right now. What do you think you're doing?" Kesha had turned around, confused. A sheriff's deputy was walking toward her from a patrol car parked at the curb. White male, probably late 30s, hand resting on his duty belt near his weapon. His name tag read, Webb. Deputy Marcus Webb was 38 years old, 11 years with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, currently assigned to the Patrol Division covering downtown Greenville. His service record showed 17 commendations for arrests and 2 letters of reprimand for use of force violations. He'd been involved in 9 use of force incidents in 11 years, 8 involving black suspects, 1 involving a Hispanic suspect, 0 involving white suspects. He'd received 5 complaints of racial profiling in his career. All 5 had been marked unfounded by internal affairs after investigations that lasted an average of 3 days. Webb had been driving past the county administration building when he'd gotten a radio call from dispatch. Possible break-in attempt at county administration building, southeast entrance. Caller reports a suspicious person trying to access the building. Webb had responded that he was 1 block away and would check it out. He'd arrived 90 seconds later and had seen exactly what the caller had described. A black woman in casual clothes trying to unlock a side door to a government building before normal business hours. Webb's mind had made the same calculation it had made dozens of times before. Black person plus expensive-looking bag plus government building plus early morning equals potential burglary. He hadn't considered that she might work there. Hadn't considered that she might have a legitimate key. Hadn't considered that county employees regularly arrived before 8:30 a.m. He'd seen what his biases had trained him to see, a threat that needed to be investigated. Kesha had kept her key in the lock but had turned to face Webb fully, keeping her hands visible. Years of prosecuting police misconduct cases had taught her exactly how these encounters could escalate. "I'm unlocking my office," she'd said calmly. "I work here. Is there a problem, officer?" Webb had looked her up and down, his expression skeptical. Jeans and a sweatshirt didn't look like government employee attire to him. "Your office? This is a government building. I need to see some ID and proof you're authorized to be here." Kesha's prosecutorial instincts had immediately flagged the problems with Webb's approach. He demanded ID without articulating reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. He demanded proof of authorization, to enter a building she was unlocking with a key. He was already on shaky legal ground, and Kesha knew it because she'd prosecuted cases involving these exact issues. "I have my identification," Kesha had said, her voice still calm but firmer now. "But I don't need to prove I'm authorized to enter my own office. What's your reasonable suspicion that I'm committing a crime?" Most civilians didn't use terms like reasonable suspicion. Most people didn't challenge deputies by citing legal